Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you after the Giants fall to the Niners, 2-7 now on the season. I think very predictable. The difference in the coaching staffs is so stark. Both teams came in ravaged by injuries, no question about it. Purdy wasn't even activated today. The Niners had really been banged up in so many ways all years. It's amazing that they have a winning record. They do, but they've done a very good job at 6-3. But they're well coached, and it shows today. And Dart played fairly well, but what shows today is how much they lost with Scatterbo, how much energy went out of that building. Now, listen, Dart is being complimented everywhere. Salah, who's a good defensive coordinator, like I said, not a good head coach, but a good defensive coordinator, was very complimentary. Everybody says the right things about Dart. Dart today, 24-33, threw a couple of touchdown passes, scored on the ground. But the loss of Scatterbo was so tough to take, and it has been felt not only on the field with the running game, but also emotionally. They don't have that same feeling now. Dart's going to battle. He's going to run. He's going to take some bad hits. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's going to make a lot of positive plays. He has no weapons. I don't know if the Giants can get him a wide receiver by Tuesday. Now I'm starting to think that they can't. Okay. The bottom line is the Giants are back in that abyss, and now the only question becomes, do they fall so far in the next 4 games at Chicago, Packers, at the Lions, at the Pats? They're not going to win those games. And at 2-10, 2-11, the only thing left that's saving Dable is Dart. I think the only thing now that will save Dable this year, because the Giants, I understand they hurt in the secondary, but their defense was awful. They made mistakes. They ran into each other. They had back-to-back false starts, all kinds of stuff. And you're just tired of looking at it. And there's no reason to bring Dable back and not go forward with a new staff unless Dart says, I have to have Dable. Now, do I think Dart could save the quarterback, save the coach? I do. But he'd have to really go out there and say, I have to have him. I don't know if the young man's going to do that. I really don't know what their relationship is like. I'm sure it's close, but that doesn't mean he's going to do that. So Dable is very much right back out on that very, very unstable branch. And will be there until they can win a couple of games. Now, players who place a qualifying same-game parlay of at least $10 on eligible NFL or NCAA football games will receive one standard entry into the weekly Bet Rivers Squares game. Winning standard squares will be awarded at $20 per bonus bet. See the app and website for more details. Also, remember the Francesa newsletter. The Mike Francesa newsletter, sign up for it. You get all kinds of goodies. You go to MikeFrancesapodcast.com and sign up, and remember that it is free. The Giants, let's be honest, they scored enough to cosmetically keep this game within reach, but they were never winning this game. They get out 7-0. They answer. Obviously, mistakes were made. There were mistakes made. They should have gone for the touchdown when they went for the field goal. Gano misses a field goal after they got their one rare turnover. Okay. Their defense has not been utilized properly all year. They've been a mess in the secondary, although they have had a lot of injuries there. But there are a lot of teams with a lot of injuries. They got badly outgained today. You know what McCaffrey's going to do, and you know that they were going to complete passes today, 19 of 24. And listen, if they needed more in the second half, they put it in the cookie jar. If they needed more in the second half, they would have completed more passes. That's all there is to it. 19 of 24, 235, 2 touchdowns for Jones, who is not a very mobile quarterback. McCaffrey Hey, he has a McCaffrey game, 106 rushing and a touchdown, 67 receiving and a touchdown. That is your typical McCaffrey game, and that's what he does. That's why he's a great player. 380 yards. Giants wind up with 296, but it wasn't even that close. When the game was 20-7, they were being outgained 231-98. The Giants had rushed for 38 yards. Today, they got a couple of runs in the second half, which makes this look. Tracy ran for 18 yards. Singletary ran for 43. Dart ran for 56 on 8 carries. 18 was his long run. They have no skilled position players now. I mean, Robinson is a slot receiver. That's all he is. Slayton drops as many balls as he gets to. Theo Johnson can make a nice play now and again. He drops way too many balls. There's nothing to like. There's nothing to like in the running game other than Dart. There's nothing to like in the passing game other than Dart. There's nothing to like anywhere other than Dart right now. And they're going nowhere fast. 2-7 at Chicago, which is going to come at them. And with their secondary the way it is, because Chicago's going to cut it apart. Then they're going to go play the Packers. Now, the Packers are a little weird, as we know. The Packers have had a strange year, a really strange year. They might have lost T. Kraft today, too, which would be a devastating. And for the Panthers to go in, that's a great win for the Panthers today. But for the Panthers to go in and beat the Packers 16-13, I mean, last week the Panthers lost because they didn't have their quarterback. He didn't have a big game today. He didn't do hardly anything today, but they won the game, and that's all that matters. Okay, Dowdle, who became the number one back this week by acclamation, rushed for 130 yards. Lions get beat at home by the Vikings. Packers get beat at home by the Panthers. Those are big time losses. The Falcons, who can find ways to lose, I mean, they could screw up a one-car funeral. They're that kind of team. They have talent. They lose to the Pats today. They score. London gets his third touchdown of the game from Pence, and they missed the extra point. They've lost games this year because they missed chip shot field goals. They lost games this year because they don't know how to execute. And today they lose because they can't make an extra point. Just unbelievable what they've done. Niners get to 6-3 now. That's a heck of a win for them today. It's just a good win for a team that's been beat up as much as they have. For the Giants, like we said, 2-7. After that Eagle victory and the start of that Denver game, things were looking up. They lose that Denver game. They go to Philly and lose Scatterboo and the game badly. And then they have this game today. And now, I mean, I can't even give them a win in the next 4 games. Not one win. So you're looking at 2-11. And then the question is he coming back to coach the quarterback? Is he not coming back to coach the quarterback? There's going to be multiple changes on the staff anyway. The defensive coordinator has been awful. He's utilized the personnel terribly. The Giants cannot be in the middle of the pack in sacks and in quarterback hurries. They cannot. They don't force turnovers. It's the bottom of the league. They got one today on a fluky play. It's a bad situation all the way around. It's unfortunate that Neighbors went down for the season. It's unfortunate that Scatterboo went down for the season. I'm not going to say that Dable didn't have bad luck here, but eventually it has to show up in your play. And I'll tell you this, for teams trying to turn things around, what Vrabel is doing in New England, people are saying, well, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Well, you didn't get Vrabel and you didn't have May. That's what it comes down to. But you have teams here who were, actually doing a better job. You really do. Carolina is doing a better job, much better job. young coach, young quarterback. Okay, they found a running back in Darrell who's becoming a star. Um, they're doing a good job. It can be done. You don't have to wait year after year after year and pray that you can finally turn things around. You really don't. The other one today was the Steelers and the Colts, and it was going to be a referendum on the Colts. Steelers also needed it because they had lost 2 games and played very poorly defensively. Colts came back to make it, respectable, but uh, they lost today, 27-20 to the Steelers. I thought the Steelers at home might win this game. I would have been very impressed if the Colts won it. Jones threw 3 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times. They shut down Taylor. They shut down Warren. So give the Steelers credit. They went in, they forced Daniel Jones into the mistakes. They shut down the number 1 back. They shut down a tight end who's been killing people. He only had 26 yards today on 5 catches. So kudos for the Steelers for the day. That was a big, big win for them in a big way. A couple other things, okay? Number 1, I'm sure you're still buzzing about it. I sure hope you watched it. This was an epic World Series. You never know when an epic World Series is going to come your way. Those last couple of innings, from when Muncy hit the homer to the final out of the game, was as good as baseball can ever be. And as I've told you many times, baseball in October, where it's the one sport that can suspend time, in that every other sport plays so quickly. Baseball can take time. You're playing it at bat. You're thinking along. Okay. I mean, there was so many things there. I mean, and you have to give the Dodgers and their hierarchy so much credit. I mean, they went and they put Miggy in the game. He didn't hit anything in Game 6, but he made some huge defensive plays, including on the last play of the game. And then yesterday, not only does he make a play in the bottom of the inning that saves the series, he also hits a home run. I mean, remarkably hits a home run. I mean, Muncy hits the home run in the 8th. He hits the home run in the 9th. The play at the plate, the play made at second base to throw, and Smith getting his foot down right in the corner just before the run scores, and give the umpires kudos on those close plays that was so bang, bang. They were right on them. They didn't have to go to replay and reverse them. They got them right the first time. The defense that you saw, and Pajes, he came forever to catch that ball. Forever. And he just wasn't going to. And I don't know if Kiki would have caught it. He was stumbling around. I don't know if he would have caught it, but Pajes wasn't going to let him catch it. He was like, I'm catching this ball. I don't care if I have to jump on him. I'm catching this ball. And he basically did. And then you get to one of the great postseason performances in World Series history. I mean, one of the great pitching performances in baseball history. What Yamamoto did. And I was surprised he only pitched 6 innings in Game 6. I think he was exhausted. I'm sure they had a conversation. I thought he was going to come out and at least throw another inning. So I was surprised at that. And they got away with it. But then last night, for him to come in the game and do what he did, puts him in the annals of the greatest pitching performances in World Series history. And you go back to 1926, Grover Cleveland Alexander, the Yankees being an overwhelming favorite, the great Yankees, the Murderers Row, Ruth and Gehrig and Tony Lazzeri and Musial, etc., Combs, overwhelming favorite to beat Rogers Hornsby's ragtag St. Louis Cardinals. And they pitched the old man. And if you've ever seen the movie Winning Team with Ronald Reagan and Doris Day, which is one of my favorite old movies. It's actually a movie that Tom Seaver took a liking to as a young man, and he and Nancy kind of thought they were like Ronald Reagan, and then really in real life they kind of were. But they cleaned up the version about Grover Cleveland Alexander being sick, not telling anybody, taking the drink because he had been hurt in the war. He liked to drink. He was one of the great pitchers of all time. He had an incredible run before World War One, an incredible run. He was, winning 30 games, throwing 13 shutouts. Okay, he was as good a pitcher as baseball ever seen. He's an old man when he's pitching in 26. They throw him in game 2. He goes all the way to beat the Yankees. They throw him in game 6. He ties up the series 3-3 at Yankee Stadium. And now they're going to go in game 7. Their starter, Jess Haynes, gets a blister. The bases are loaded in the 7th inning. The Yankees are trailing the Cardinals 3-2. Overwhelming favorites to win the series. And although the movie is not to real life because the series ended very differently than they played it out, but the key moment, which is on his Hall of Fame plaque, is that this great hurler for 2 decades in the National League came in at Yankee Stadium in Game 7 with the bases loaded and Tony Lazzari at the plate to strike out Tony Lazzari with the bases loaded to preserve the Cardinal victory over the Yankees. So he won Game 2, won Game 6, saved Game 7. Yamamoto won 3 games in the series. He won 3 games. I mean, if anybody didn't vote for him for the MVP, they should never have a vote again. This was one of the great modern pitching before. We've seen some great ones. We've seen great ones from Gibson and great ones from Sandy and Randy Johnson and tremendous stuff from Schilling. And we go on. And obviously, there's been other guys who have had great performances. But this rates with any performance ever. And then you got to give Roberts credit because I'll tell you something. It didn't get a lot of attention, but it should have. That was an incredibly bold move after the Guerrero double and the out. He's going to keep Yamamoto in the game, but he doesn't want to deal with a guy who's killing him from the left side for the last 4 or 5 games. I think he wound up in the series hitting close to 500. Okay. I'll look up exactly what he was doing, but I think he was over 500 or right around 500 for the series, and it seemed like he was hitting almost every ball out of the ballpark. But think about it. Think about how he's going to get second guessed if what happens there is Kirk, who is a big time. Now Barg is 2 for 4. He's hitting 367 with over a 1 OPS in the series. He's been red hot. Now Kirk's a really good hitter, but obviously if he hits anything on the ground, it's an automatic DP. He's the slowest man in baseball. He puts the winning run on base. Now think about it there. You can attack that. With you got the runner on third with 1 out. You can attack that and say, all right, I can pop Barger up, I can strike him out. Maybe he hits an atom ball at somebody, or he hits a sac fly. Now, also he could have hit a double up the gap or hit a home run. I mean, he's been that hot. They decide to put him on first base. Now you're putting the winning run on first base. So if Kirk hits a base hit, which you've seen him do how many times in the postseason, now the tying run scored, and now it's first and third to win the series. And you're saying, how could you put the game-winning runner on base? He did. He had a belief. They clearly pitched around them, and then they got the double play to win the game. Hats off, because I wouldn't have done it. I admit I wouldn't have done it. I would have gone after Barger. I would have been careful, but I would have gone after him and try and pop him up or get an atom ball. And at worst, maybe I get a sack fly and I got a tie game again. But how do I put the lead run on base? He can steal second. He can have second and third. I mean, give him credit. Give him credit. Now, the only thing that you could even slight a little bit there is, are you moving the runner because you're trying to stay out of the double play? And Kirk makes contact. Because you know if he hits a grounder anywhere on the diamond, it's a double play, as it was. I mean, Mookie was dancing even before he got to second base. It's a double play. But hats off to the Dodgers, who were down 3-0 in that game, who were down 4-2 in the eighth, who were down 4-3 in the ninth, who never led that game until they won it. A lot of credit. And then Yamamoto with one of the brilliant performances of all time. I went to my son's game. So I got a chance to watch the Breeders' Cup at dinner. Got the classic wrong again. Sorry. Hard race to figure who was going to be on the front end of that race. But the other three horses I gave you, Ted Donahue, I think is going to be a, Derby favorite. I know I loved him. He was a very short price, but I told you I thought he'd win. Cy-Fair won, and then Silla won. So at least we gave you 3 winners out of 4, which for me for the Breeders' Cup is good. I mean, that's good. You make a profit at the Breeders' Cup, you did well. Now, one thing, I took my Jack, Rowan. I took Jack and some of his teammates and buddies out to dinner last night, and Jack is killing me. He goes, "Dad, they are killing you, and they're killing Dog." I said, "Oh, I got lumped with Dog again." They go, "Yeah." They said, "Both of you on pronouncing, you know whose name." So they got me pronouncing. Now I've gone and done work now on it, so I have it phonetically spelled out. Smith in Jigba. Thank you. I should have done that before, but I didn't take the time. So they played for me saying it, and I butchered it. I mean, I absolutely butchered it, and it was bad. And then Dog came along and tried it. Now remember, Dog can't pronounce anything. That's part of his charm. I don't even know what he said, but it was funny. So we both got whacked there, and we deserved it. We deserved it. He deserved it. I deserved it. It was a funny tape. I'm sure they played it everywhere, and we deserved to get beat up on it. And so Jack said, "I'm going to send it to you on your phone. Smith in Jigba." I said, "You got it." So now I have it down. So all of you that heard me butchering Smith and Jigba and hearing Dog mangling Smith and Jigba, hey, it's part of what made Mike and the Mad Dog magical. We'll see you later.